At Incheon International Airport, under the sterile glow of terminal lights and the relentless gaze of cameras, a moment unfolded that no one anticipated, not even the most devoted ARMY. Jungkook, BTS's youngest member, known for his stoic demeanor and composed public appearances, broke protocol and emotional restraint in a way that stunned the global fanbase. As Jimin stepped into the arrival hall, weary from travel yet radiant with quiet strength, Jungkook rushed forward and embraced him with a force that transcended words. Why did this reunion shake the very core of BTS fandom? What was hidden behind that prolonged hug, the trembling shoulders, and the tears that refused to be held back? The scene was not part of a scheduled performance, nor was it a promotional stunt. It was raw, unfiltered emotion, the kind that rarely surfaces in the tightly managed world of global entertainment. Jimin, visibly overwhelmed, clung to Jungkook as if anchoring himself after a long drift. Observers noted the intensity of their eye contact, the silent exchange that seemed to carry years of unspoken words. Was this the first time they had seen each other since their respective military discharges? Or was there something deeper, a shared burden, a mutual understanding, a signal to the world that BTS was ready to reclaim its place? The footage, captured by fans and media alike, spread across social platforms within minutes. But unlike typical airport sightings, this one ignited a wave of emotional responses that bordered on collective catharsis. Armies around the world reported crying uncontrollably, some describing the moment as healing, others as a silent scream of longing finally answered. What made this encounter so universally resonant? Was it the timing, the context, or the sheer vulnerability displayed by two of the most guarded figures in K-pop? Jungkook's expression, usually unreadable, betrayed a storm of emotions. His eyes glistened, his jaw clenched, and his arms tightened around Jimin with a protectiveness that felt almost desperate. Jimin, for his part, did not attempt to hide his tears. They streamed freely, staining his mask, soaking into Jungkook's shoulder. The crowd, initially erupting in cheers, fell into a stunned silence. Even seasoned reporters admitted to being momentarily paralyzed, unsure whether to document or simply witness. This was not just a reunion. It was a revelation. For months, speculation had swirled around BTS's future. With members completing military service and solo projects dominating headlines, fans feared the group's unity might be fraying. But this moment, this visceral, unscripted display of brotherhood, shattered those doubts. Could this be the first public signal that BTS was preparing for a full-scale comeback? Was the emotional gravity of the hug a coded message to ARMY, a reassurance that the bond remained unbreakable? The symbolism was impossible to ignore. Jungkook, often perceived as the group's pillar of strength, allowing himself to be vulnerable. Jimin, the emotional heart of BTS, leaning into that vulnerability without shame. Their interaction spoke volumes about trust, resilience, and the depth of their connection. It was not rehearsed. It was not polished. It was real. Observers noted that other members, though present, maintained a respectful distance. Suga, known for his introspective nature, watched quietly, his expression unreadable. RM, the group's leader, appeared contemplative, perhaps reflecting on the significance of the moment. V and Jean, though not immediately visible, were reportedly nearby. Their presence felt even if not seen. Was this coordinated? Or did each member instinctively understand that this was a moment for Jimin and Jungkook alone? The questions multiplied as the footage circulated. Why now? Why here? What had transpired in the days leading up to this reunion that made it so emotionally charged? Was there a private conversation, a shared experience, or a turning point that led to this public outpouring? Fans dissected every frame, every gesture, every glance, searching for clues. Some speculated that the hug marked the end of a personal struggle. Perhaps Jimin had faced challenges during his solo activities, and Jungkook, ever the loyal brother, was offering silent support. Others believed it was a celebration, a moment of triumph after months of uncertainty. Still others saw it as a prelude, a teaser for something monumental on the horizon. Theories aside, the impact was undeniable. Armies flooded social media with messages of solidarity, gratitude, and emotional reflection. "This is why we love BTS," one fan wrote. "Not just for their music, but for their humanity." Another posted, "I've never cried over an airport video before, but this broke me." Media outlets scrambled to contextualize the event. Analysts pointed to the timing, just weeks after rumors of a BTS reunion began to surface. Could this be the first domino in a carefully orchestrated return? Was the emotional display a strategic move, or simply a spontaneous eruption of suppressed feelings? Regardless of intent, the moment achieved something rare in the entertainment industry: authenticity. In a world saturated with curated content and manufactured emotion, Jungkook and Jimin reminded everyone that true connection cannot be faked. Their hug was not a performance. It was a declaration, and it was heard. Across continents, fans organized virtual gatherings to discuss the moment. Some created art, others wrote essays, and many simply watched the footage on loop, trying to absorb every nuance. The emotional resonance was so profound that even non-fans took notice. Commentators from outside the K-pop sphere acknowledged the power of the moment, calling it a masterclass in emotional storytelling without words. But what comes next? If this was indeed a signal, what is BTS preparing to unveil? A new album? A world tour? A documentary chronicling their journey through military service and solo careers? Or something more abstract, a redefinition of their identity as artists and individuals? The silence from official channels only deepened the mystery. No statements were released, no interviews given. The moment stood alone, unadorned, unclarified, and perhaps that was the point. In an age of over-explanation, Jungkook and Jimin chose silence. They let the hug speak, and it spoke volumes. The emotional gravity of the encounter has already etched itself into BTS history. It will be remembered not for its setting, but for its sincerity. Not for its timing, but for its truth. It was a reminder that even global icons are human, that even the strongest need comfort, and that even in the glare of fame, vulnerability is not weakness, it is strength. As the dust settles and the world waits for BTS's next move, one thing is certain: the bond between Jungkook and Jimin is unshakable. And in that bond, ARMY finds hope. Hope that the group's future is not just intact, but luminous. Hope that the music will return, richer and deeper than ever. Hope that the journey, though paused, was never abandoned.